I'm back. It's MJ, and I am with Bette Gray, who has an amazing history here with Berwick. And I have known of her for many years, but we only met recently. And I'm regretting all the years that I didn't have the contact.
Thank you.
She's very bright, she's educated, she's sophisticated, and she cares. It's a pretty neat package. I'm going to start with how long have you been here? Where and what? And
I was born here in 1959
at
the new Berwick Hospital. I was one of the first, not the first, but I mean, I obviously wasn't born in the old Berwick Hospital. So I've been here since 1959. I grew up in a laundromat just down the road, and I had a family business and understood what that was all about. Went to Bloomsburg State College, graduated from there, bachelor's in biology and secondary education. Went on to Geisinger, worked at Geisinger for a few years, dabbled in this, dabbled in that, but my passion's always been for people, and my passion's always been for healthcare. And from that, in 2007, I opened a free clinic, and actually right over there in that red building, and we outgrew that very rapidly, and we moved to Mifflinville, and the rest is history. I left that in 2015.
Okay, tell me about the free clinic. I mean, that has had a huge impact in this area.
Well, the reason why the free clinic started was I had no health coverage. My husband lost his job. He was the town administrator for Bloomsburg, and one day the mayor came in and said, "You're done." At the time I was bleeding, had health care for a month, and then after that, no health care, needed a hysterectomy, and while I was recovering, ended up watching John Bon Jovi dedicate millions of dollars to volunteers in medicine in Red Bank, New Jersey. And it took us 3 years to get it off the ground, but when I left, we treated 2,300 patients after 8 years and almost 200 cancers.
Yeah, and that's an amazing record because the area went through a period of declining employment, and a lot of people who may have had health care lost it during that period. At one time, I worked for a company who, unbeknownst to their employees, had canceled the health insurance 6 months before they went under, right at the time when their tax excusing got done. You know, it was an interesting place. So a lot of people found themselves saddled with bills that they could not approach and no way to get further care.
Yes.
So you also have another interest, particularly you were interested in respiratory issues, I think?
Well, I'm a respiratory therapist. So when I graduated from Bloom and ended up at Geisinger, back in the day you could do on-the-job training. And so, that ended up being, I was able to get certified, I'm actually registered, licensed in the state to practice respiratory therapy. So that really helped in the clinic. I'd have patients that would come in, couldn't breathe, and we could keep them there, not have to send them to the ER, and kind of monitor them. So we saved a lot of bucks there. I mean, not that it's about the bucks, but convenience. And the one thing that I always tell people is, you're only one step away from being uninsured. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you have the best job in the world. If you lose that job, and if insurance is tied to that employment, you are going to be just like me, uninsured. My story worked out really well because while my husband was unemployed, I was doing every other weekend at Sunbury Community Hospital doing respiratory therapy. So we were able to get COBRA. There were moments when I was deciding, do I live or do I die? And my sons, I think, were like 15 and 10 at the time. And I'm like, my husband has no job. I'm bleeding to death, literally bleeding to death. My options are $40,000 in healthcare bills or to die. And fortunately, man, that COBRA, because we'd still be paying. We're still after, 14, 15, how many years, we're still digging out, because once you lose your job, you try to hold on to your house, you try to hold on to your life, you try to hold on to your family. But yeah, it made a significant impact. And I can tell you that it was not a pleasant walk, literally in the park. It was not.
Yeah, I'm sure. So now you have a new focus since the Mifflin Clinic. That's still up and running, but you're not there.
Volunteers in Medicine Clinic is still there. They're still doing the stuff that we set out to do long ago. When I left in 15, I ended up creating an LLC, which is called Gray Medical Advocate. I hear about people and try to connect the dots for folks. Today it's healthcare navigation. I can't get an appointment. Well, how do you do that? This physician is not listening to me. How do I get them to do that? I can't pay the bills. How do I do that? And I learned all of that, not because I set out to, but because in the clinic I had to figure out things for people. Medical assistance, insurance, the Affordable Care Act. Let's get you signed up. And when the ACA rolled out, I created a project. Bloomsburg University, Bucknell University in the clinic. Let's get these people signed up. I'm selfish. I want people to be productive because it gives them self-esteem. If they can go to work and feel well, hey, that's half the battle.
A healthy population is critical to the nation's security and economy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that is not so. And I proved that. I proved that. And a lot of the folks who came through the clinic doors said, "I don't deserve this," and I'm like, "Why? Why don't you deserve to live?" You're like, "This is craziness," and not to be political, but in a country like ours, where we're supposed to be at the top of our game, we don't give our citizens health care. I don't know.
I have a lot of Canadian cousins. My dad was from Canada, and they absolutely love their system. It works.
I haven't heard many Canadians that are flocking to the United States to get health care. It's going to be, Switzerland, Sweden, all of the European countries. I mean, they get it. But, everybody says, well, they're small countries. Well, if we would get rid of corporate insurance greed and corporate healthcare greed, we could do it too. I mean, I proved it. Free healthcare. Like, it wasn't hard.
Right.
It really wasn't hard. But
okay, now you've had the political part of this rant from both of us, but that's something we both, believe in. I try not to get too political, but I am personally very political, so some of it's going to leak in.
Well, I think it's more about kind of human rights. Just about human rights. We don't need a third world country where we have to set up tents. People can't afford to get their health care. It is what it is.
Okay, so what do you see going forward for Berwick?
Berwick, actually, believe it or not, is hopping. I look at the downtown and I think a lot of days when I drive through, the spaces are filled. People are coming into the downtown. Storefronts are filled, which is awesome.
Yes.
That is. Berwick is unique. There is no other community, maybe, unlike Berwick. I mean, we're a borough, we're not a town, but having served on Borough Council in 1992, off and on up until about 2002, 2003, I've seen great things happen. And the key is the youth of the community. How do you keep them here? What are the opportunities? And if we don't create opportunities, like all communities, the youth leave. They go to better pastures. So, I am hopeful. I am really hopeful.
Excellent. Betty, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.